Hello, hello everyone. Hopefully you can see me well and hear me well. Let's see. Rami. Try with me, rather. Uh, okay. Cool. That seems to be working. I'll turn this off. See if I can do something for the camera because the camera so far doesn't seem to help me at times. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Does what it wants, really. Okay. The contrast, the gamma. Something like that. If I turn this off, I think sharpening's better. There's something about the hue that it's like greenish that I don't like. Anyhow, alright. So today's Monday, and I'm going to try to stream for you guys a drawing of this guy right here, of this chameleon. See if I can make this work. Streaming on a budget, basically, in a nutshell. Yeah, okay. See. So last time I worked on this guy right here. Hi. Hi, how are you? I just forgot to turn this on. Hopefully you can hear me. Okay. So last time I worked on this guy right here, which I enjoyed. Let's see this time around what I can do. We used to have a chameleon at some point in my house. Yeah. Let's see. Well, I wanted to do like a little reading of what they are. Oh, I haven't. Maybe I haven't seen it. Was it recently? Um, oh, okay. Yeah, I haven't seen it. I'll check it out. I'll check it out later. Yeah, I'm usually, as usual, I'm all over the place, I guess. But yeah, I still think I'm getting better at this. I like to think that I am. So if I identified this guy correctly, he should be a belled chameleon. According to Wikipedia, I'm just gonna read a small description. Is a species of chameleon family Camelidae native to the Arabian Peninsula in Yemen and Saudi Arabia, Other common names include conehead chameleon, Yemen chameleon, and Yemeni chameleon. Yeah, I didn't check over the weekend, but it's weird because it should appear. Um, oh, I'll check it out in I just saw it. I'll check it out in more detail in a bit uh, after the stream. Or what the heck? Uh, uh oh yeah. Well, yeah. I just read it. Yeah. Um, I don't want to get into that much really, but um, I don't know what to think. I have family there and stuff, but I don't know. I don't know. I really don't know what to say about that. Anyhow, going back to what I was saying about the chameleon, is a species of chameleon, family of Chameleonidae, native to the Arabian Peninsula in Yemen and Saudi Arabia. Other common names include conehead chameleon, Yemen chameleon, Yemeni chameleon. They're born pastel green and without the distinctive casket on their heads. As they mature, the cascade develops along with more vibrant coloring as well as dramatic gular fold that will protrude from their throat and chin. They're known for their variable color changes due to a variety of factors, including to show aggression, social status, reproduction, and stress. Female lifespan around 5 years, while male lifespan is around 8, and they breed a few times a year. Yeah, they're really awesome. I love chameleons. They're awesome creatures. If you like animals like me, you probably know about them. If you don't, well, they eat insects and they're really good at it when they set their minds to it. Uh, they move really slow, but they shoot their tongues towards their prey, and yeah, they do change color a little bit to camouflage, um, depending on certain things. But overall, what I experience is that they change way more, like depending on how they, like if they're really stressed or feeling good, they change color depending on that, or if they want to look aggressive, as the thing is saying. Um, I also saw that I saw them do this. They, because they're cold blooded, they change part of their skin to, like when they're taking sun in, they change half of their body to get more heat from the sun, and they like they just swap when they turn around, like to heat themselves up. They're they're awesome creatures. So, let's see what I can do. As if if this is the first time you see one of my streams, I draw. I basically draw, and I also post my drawings onto my profile. So if you want to check that out, you can see it on my profile. And I have a website where you can see other stuff I do. If you want to ask questions, feel free. This is why I do the streams. Um, I don't mention this really, but I actually do commissions. So if somebody's interested, let me know. And that's one. I've heard, like, sometimes family members or people around me have told me, and I find it really annoying, that I I stutter or something. I don't believe I stutter. I think it's weird because what I feel happens with me is that I'm trying to rush the thought that I'm trying to get across. So sometimes I just start messing up while talking. I don't know if that makes sense, but hopefully it does. Also trying to get better at that, like speaking in public. I mean, all right. I don't know. Sometimes I'm too much on my head. That's the definition of stuttering. Really? Now you just made me curious. I wanna see that. Give me a second. Stutter. Hmm. Talk with continuing voluntary repetition of sounds, especially initial consonants. Um, Stuttering, also known as stammering, is a speech disorder characterized externally by involuntary repetitions and prolongations of sounds, syllables, words, or phrases, as well as involuntary silent pauses called blocks, in which the person who stutters is unable to produce sound. I'm curious about this because I know a little bit about it, but first time. You really? Uh, Almost 80 million people worldwide stutter, about 1% of the world population, with a prevalence among males at least twice that of females. Persistent stuttering into adulthood often leads to outcomes. Yeah, I guess so. Hmm. I haven't found what it says, like what you mentioned, but it's interesting, alright. Hola. Hola, Nagi. Okay, let's get back to it. I don't know. Maybe a starter. I don't know. I find it a little bit annoying. hago mi contenido en inglés, pero este camaleón que se ve acá abajo. So I'm just doing this chameleon right here. Just about to start. So as I always say, I try to frame the drawing. Just gonna shut up for a second. Yeah. Not my day, not my month, not my year. Oh my god. I wanna, I wanna break this thing. Oh, maybe I can do something with that. I might actually film a little bit more, but probably I'm gonna stop using that arm. I need to buy like a professional. What you call this thing? Arm? Uh, Holder? What you might call it? I should buy one of those freaking things. It's just a second. Holder. Um, Gracias. Gracias, gracias. Okay. Uh, wait, it's like too much. I'm just gonna lower it, the intensity. Or should I? What the heck is this? What's? I'm breaking everything today. Anyway. Everybody alright? Okay. You know what? For the time being, I'm not gonna use this. At least not right now. Put it on after. So I always mention that I try to frame the drawing, or at least try to composite the the subject into a page. And that's usually what you should do, regardless of whatever you're trying to create. If you don't take it into account, you are always running the risk of the drawing being too close to the edges, which is really annoying. I don't like it. So this should be kind of like the horn, or I just read it, the bell. That should be like the mouth there. It should curve like that. I don't know what I'm going to do with the. Let's see. Like that should go like right there. So it might not be that obvious what I'm trying to do right now, but it will make sense hopefully. And so here should correspond to the top part of the creature. Uh, this area right here should be like the front of the mouth. Trying to make sense of where, like I'm basically trying to draw without actually putting a line. If you need to, you can do all the measurements you want. I just have my own way of going about this. And the eye should be like right there. So that would be. I think actually like something like this. I should measure with that. Actually, still like there. Okay, so if this is the head, head should get up to there. Super overblown. Just trying to eliminate the shadow. I'm not trying to make it so that you guys cannot see what I'm doing. But the camera should be like that. Cluttering. Oh, glad that they enjoy the deck. Uh, that sounds really awesome. Happy for them. Uh, I hope they learn a few things about my country that maybe they don't know. And you, well, I'm pretty sure you learned some stuff. You've learned some stuff uh, based on the news and so on and so forth. But my deck of cards is meant to show good things about my country and what I appreciate about our culture and uh, what uh, makes us a really nice place. It's just I don't know. History is weird, and we don't get to decide that sort of thing. The one that you mentioned, just jumping to a different subject, cluttering, I haven't heard of before. I'm just gonna Google that right now because it sounds also interesting. Maybe is what is going on with me. Uh, the fluency disorder affects the rate and rhythm of your speech. Fluency disorders, which include cluttering and stuttering, involve interruptions of speech flow. With cluttering, you may speak so fast that your words run together. That actually, I think that's probably what is happening with me. I don't know. Maybe. I just gonna Google this. Cluttering is cluttering is sometimes confused with stuttering. That makes so much sense, actually. Bueno, que te vaya bien. eh, que te salga bien tu tarea. Buenas noches. Gracias por unirte a mi stream. Ok, no pasa nada. Igual dura como una hora, hora y pico, y en YouTube está. Eh, lo puedes ver después si quieres. Em, Cluttering is sometimes confused with stuttering. Both communication disorders break the normal flow of speech. But they are distinct. A stutter has a coherent pattern of thoughts but may have a difficult time vocally expressing those thoughts. In contrast, clutter has no problem putting thoughts into words, but those thoughts become disorganized during speaking. Cluttering affects not only speech but also thought patterns, writing, typing, and conversation. This is a little bit. I'm like putting myself out there reading this. I guess I don't know. I don't know if this is what happens to me, but sort of a clutter. It feels like while 20 thoughts explode on my mind at once, all I need to express them all. That when I'm trying to make a point, that I just remember something that I was supposed to say so the person can understand, and I need to interrupt myself to say something that I should have said before. Oh, this makes sense. That I need to constantly revise the sentence that I'm working on to get it out right. Oh my god. Slowing the rate of speech, heightening motoring, using clear articulation, using acceptable and organized language, interactive with interacting with listeners, speaking naturally, and reducing excessive disfluence. So it's a disfluence. Yeah, I'm going to look more into this because it's interesting. That might be what happens to me. Like my mind is going like at 30 places at the same time, and usually I'm trying to convey a thought, and I end up like jumping around during conversation. And some people are able to follow along. Some people are like, what the heck is he talking about? And others, I guess, get annoyed by it. I don't know. I haven't gotten that much, but definitely I remember my mom like saying, "Oh, he stutters." No, I don't stutter. It's not a stutter. It what you mentioned makes way more sense. But yeah, and it doesn't. The weird thing about it is it's that it doesn't happen all the time. It happens depending on the situation, or if I'm if I'm trying to convey a really complex subject, I have to. Maybe everybody does this, but I have to think how I'm going to say what I'm going to say. So I organize what I have to say in order for it to make sense. So I don't know. Maybe it's like a disorganized thought pattern, or something. Could be. That hasn't been really an issue. It's just like a, I guess, an annoyance to me and maybe to others every now and then. It's super, super. Come on, man. Why does it look so? Well, going back to what you mentioned, I'm really about the deck of cards. I'm really happy that they got it, that they liked it, and yeah, as I mentioned, hopefully they learn a few things about my country. As you saw, I have the description of what each illustration means on my website. Um, I used to have like the button that you can switch languages on the website, but I had to, like, it wasn't working properly, so I turned it off. If you switch languages, it should translate the entire thing. Like from Google, you should be able to ask for it to be translated, and I did translate the entire thing, so should be possible if they want to check that out. Um, yeah, that was, I poured my heart and soul into that project. Um, with varying degrees of success. Cool. Um, it's always awesome to hear that people enjoy the work I did for that. Like some of those decks, some of them went to South Korea, some of them went to South Africa, some of them to Europe. So there's a bunch of them that are like all around the world. There's a bunch there around the U.S. because there's a lot of people, a lot of Venezuelans in the U.S. Uh, yeah, that's that's like my small victory in 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 this creative world. Um, I'm proud of that project. I would like for it to have more success, but I'm not that famous, so let's try to showcase what I do and yeah, just as anybody would, like, try to promote my work as much as possible. The other thing that I find really awesome is that there's actually, well, like the main, there's a few stores back in Venezuela where they sell my deck of cards. Like it's really common for people when they visit Venezuela to want to take some memorabilia or like what's the souvenirs, some souvenirs to gift for their family or that sort of thing. So there's one that is called, um, yeah, one is Hecho en Venezuela, which is they have, I think, three stores or four, but they have one at the airport. So people, I know that people have bought my deck of cards when they're leaving the country or arriving. So uh, that also, like those ones, I don't, I'm not able to track. The ones that I have specifically where they went to were the ones that I sent directly, or I had to take care of the delivery with the people that were helping me. But I also find really cool that has been possible too for people to purchase it that way. Some were mentioning like, oh, you should put it in Amazon. I was like, do you know how? Like, I really looked into it, and it's not as easy as people might think, and it's really competitive, and you have to pay, which is another thing. Like, I already had a website, so it's like, why would I pay for a market that has all kinds of other stuff? I wanted to add it to Etsy, but I don't know. Etsy hasn't worked for me for, I don't know, whatever reason. It just doesn't work for me. Um, Maybe I should try it again. There's a lot of people that sell through Etsy, but apparently they also been getting some issues with they've incremented, I think, the fee that you have to pay or something. I don't know. I haven't sold anything there, so might be wrong about that. eBay, uh, my family members on the US, they added to eBay my deck, but I don't think they got many sales. Like, most of the sales were or people that knew me, like first hand, second hand, third hand, that sort of thing. Um, that was the first like wave of sales. The other part was um, like advertising that I did for the project, and that got some traction. But like I was also running on a limited budget because I financed the project myself, so I couldn't continue to advertise as I did in the beginning. So that kind of course slowed down, uh, and every now and then people uh, uh, like figure out, like find my deck of cards and buy a few. And I also added, I made a few posts on Reddit for people that buy decks of cards, collects them, and so on. And I got a few sales that way. Also, like from a Venezuelan group of on there too. So yeah, I cannot, like, it has been an experience for sure. Um, it's been a really interesting experience, but I cannot say like, oh, I now I can buy a house. Nah, not even close. Like, uh, it hasn't been like that. Would be awesome if that was the case, but uh, yeah. Also, part of the project is for me to give back. Like my idea, my thought process was I'll make my deck of cards, and part of the profits, which up to this point it has been sort of like I haven't mentioned this, but it's barely past the break even point, barely or a little bit. Uh, so the idea was that the profits, which there's none, uh, would go to part of the profits would go to like it could be a animal shelter or like one uh, I was thinking of a way to give back to Venezuela in a way that might help people there, uh, but that's also not easy to figure out which ones are actually effective. So what we were thinking was to actually do it ourselves, which we've done in the past for different reasons. Um, I mean, my family and I. Uh, so yeah, I'm just regardless of how much time it takes me, I'm going to do that. And so we'll see. We'll see how it goes. That's definitely uh, on my mind always. It's something. Yeah. I don't know if you've seen it, but I made a like a whole video. It's on the website. I made a video about that, and that's how I was uh, advertising the deck. My idea originally was actually to do it like a Kickstarter. If it didn't get funded, it would just go back to whoever funded the project. Uh, yeah, it you you might have to activate the captions though, but because that I made in Spanish. I wish I had like a caption, no, not caption, dub version. My um I'm lost. What? Oh, the video is in Spanish. Yeah, but you can see it on with caption. I did take the time to check that the captions were correct and all that. It wouldn't make sense for me to do any of that without properly showing people what I was actually talking about. Oh, okay. I think the proportions are not 100%, but just just go with it. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. Just my wife was telling me that the brace I'm using is not the proper one. I might have to buy another one that actually like keeps your finger in a specified position or something. I love these animals. They're freaking awesome. For most people, some people when they went to our house, they were kind of freaked out by them. Oh, I didn't know that. Like, as you might guess, I haven't been to the doctor about that. My mom was like, "You should go to the doctor." Like she didn't know, and she figured out because she saw a picture of me with the brace, and she just started asking like, "What happened to you? What is going? Did you, are you hurt? Are you okay?" It's like, "Yeah, I'm okay. Everything's fine." I don't like going to the doctor, and as I was telling my wife, the one time I went for a brace, but it was here. The issue was here, and the dude was like super. That's nothing. Don't worry about it. I was like, okay. So he didn't even prescribe me anything. He just, I think you're fine. Like, okay, you didn't even touch my arm. How, like, did you just guessed? So, yeah, just to be sure, based on what I read at the time, uh, I just started using brace. I think yeah, just use that. And it's like, dude, like, you're the doctor. You should actually check. What do you mean, prescribe stuff? Um, yeah, you can. Latin America is more relaxed about that than the U.S. and Canada, for what I know. Some stuff it's definitely off limits, but uh, no, uh, I mean specifically a prescription. Like some, the dude didn't even mention like put an ointment on that, so you or ice, or he didn't anything, nothing. There was no like note that told me, do this, do that. As far as I remember. Having said this, this was like 10 years ago or something. I don't know. It was a long time ago, so maybe I'm missing some details. But I remember that he didn't even check my wrist. I was like, dude, that's the only reason I'm here is I could be machismo. I don't know, maybe, but I was like, that doesn't make sense. Maybe I should have doubled down because like that, like, dude, that's what I work with. Like literally, that is what I do, and everything was depending on me being able to use my hand. So for a doctor, which I know happens to everyone every once in a while, oh, you're fine. They just brush it off. Yeah, hey, come on, man. If I say, like, if it's something, if you don't need fine movement on your hand, you probably you can do without a lot. But if you do something like me, creative, you need the full range of movement, or at least some, to a decent degree. Uh, I guess that happens to everyone. Like, I know for a fact that, like, often women go to, like, the gynecologist. I don't know how to pronounce that word, but to the doctor, and like, I'm having this and this and this issue, and then oh no, that's normal, and just like, it's kind of like gaslighting. Not exactly, but it's like they're um, undermining what you're saying to them. Gynecologist? Oh, gynecologist. I didn't know you pronounce it that way. I don't know. I was watching a video. What was I? Oh, I think it was Cox and Crander. Probably that's what it was. Like, one of them was trying to pronounce a word that they didn't know how to say, and they just riffed off of it. Oh, and I also saw. I don't know if you've seen Severance. Um, if you haven't, it's an interesting show. Um, it's on Apple TV. Uh, but uh, yeah, I was gonna say something not proper. Uh, but I saw a video about one of the characters, one of the actors that plays a character. The he apparently he it's funny. He there's a part of the thing where the series, the show, where he's explaining a story about something like the word originally is like from New Zealand. No, it's not New Zealand. The Netherlands, I think, is where it was. So the clip is on you can find it on Stephen Colbert. Colbert. He's like one of those night shows. The image below. You mean the reference? The thing is, I take my time with this because I'm chatting with you guys and I'm paying attention. Like I have it right in front of my face. You cannot see it, but it's like right here. So I'm like doing this, but yeah, everybody does something different. Like ideally, I should have like the reference here, and that way I can translate back and forth quickly. Um, but yeah, just because I'm chatting with you guys and I have to monitor everything that's going on at the same time. That's kind of why I have that set up. Uh, well, I appreciate it. Thank you. Um, yeah, I guess if I used to when I did like paintings when I was studying, would print out the reference and just keep it like here, like a small reference. That way you can just jump back and forth quickly. And so going back to what I was saying, there's a show Severance where, well, this Stephen Colbert was interviewing one of the characters, uh, one of the actors that plays one of the characters, Mr. Milchik, or something like that. So he was trying to say a word from the Netherlands, and like apparently I think it was the Netherlands, and apparently people from that country just like, oh, this is the most awful pronunciation I've heard of that word. And yeah, I know if you want to look up the clip. I don't want to do a terrible depiction of his story. Yeah, it's a funny story. Well, it was really funny, and I guess it happens to like it's like each country has a way of uh, breaking down words. So uh, let's say Spanish. Maybe to some people, Spanish. Okay, I learned Spanish, and that's it. Not quite. Not even close. Not at all. Because as as many countries as there are that speak Spanish, that same amount of kind of, you cannot call it dialects, but slangs or adaptations of that language you have. Um, I guess like Canada, what happens with Canada, the U.S., New Zealand, New Zealand. Maybe I butchered that, but Australia, the English speaking countries, you all have different ways of speaking and uh, like punctuation and emphasis on the words is different. So different accents and different slang. The same thing happens with Spanish speaking countries. Like to the point that some of us are like, what did you say? Like we cannot. There's some words that in Venezuela we have words that they don't have a translation, or like you have to like the. It's like a distortion of language. You're taking like an English thing and just making a weird translation of it and turning it, like creating a word that is derived from English, but it also has some weird Spanish stuff. I don't know. It's kind of interesting that we all have some form of that, and I guess Portuguese also like it. Portugal speaks differently, quite differently than. Uh, Funny question, but no, no, my friend, not at all. I have a family of my own. I migrated. Yeah. No. That assumption is a little bit racist, isn't it? Eh, likewise. Take care, Stephanie. So this should be like right there. Oh my god. think I got it. Yeah, I like it. I've heard that before, but also I've been lately. I've been having to use this for other reasons, so I'm kind of holding the the pen a little bit even more different than I usually do. Like I do this, but it's a little bit painful, so I'm doing like that. So it's not very common, I guess. So I'm having some issues with my wrist. So I'm trying to take it easy on that as much as I can. Uh, I leave it at this. I don't know. Continue tomorrow. It's already 10:38 for me. So yeah, I think I'll call it a day. Uh, yeah, gonna have to do a lot of rendering tomorrow. Could finish it, but yeah, I think it's enough for today. Um, yeah, if you haven't, consider subscribing. It helps me a bunch. It's completely free for you. I try to go live Monday through Thursday around the same time, 9:30 p.m. It goes for around an hour. 9:30 p.m. Argentina time. So yeah. Anyways, it should pop up on my streaming socials, whatever. Um, I have a website where you can check out what I do. I have my illustrated deck of cards that you can find also on my website that I made. It was produced by USPCC. If you want to check that out. I have a Redbubble shop and other stuff that you can see on there. Anyhow, if you decided to join my stream, I appreciate you. Thank you for watching. I hope to see you next time. I'll be cutting the stream, so bye.